Hi, I'm Chatone Martin, and I'm a graduate of Pierce College. I went through the associate program, the business program, and also got my BAS, the Bachelor's in Applied Science. But today I'm going to talk to you about Management 283 as an undergraduate.
So question number one, can you tell us about the service learning project your team worked on in Management 283 and how you first got started?
So the service project in Management 283 was you were supposed to create a nonprofit, one that's non-existent. And so my team had a brainstorm and collab, and we had a couple of ideas, but we ended up deciding on the one that I presented to them.
What was the biggest challenge your team faced in coming up with a nonprofit idea, and how did you overcome it?
The biggest challenge we faced was just choosing which direction we wanted to go in. There were a couple of people who volunteered at nonprofits, and so they were wanting to create one that kind of went along with what they knew. But then when I presented mine and said, hey, this is a nonprofit I actually want to bring into fruition and create someday and start someday, they were all on board with it.
How did your team ensure that everyone contributed to every section of the project as the syllabus required?
My team was actually really great during this project. We met on a regular basis, and that was really, really important, was meeting and making sure we were all meeting deadlines. We created deadlines, and then we met every week to make sure that we were staying within those deadlines and holding each other accountable.
How did applying management concepts like mission statements, policies, and leadership theories help shape your nonprofit project?
So applying those different policies and mission statements, we had to create everything from the ground because we were creating a nonprofit. So we actually had a lot of discussion, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of rough drafts around, hey, if we actually create this nonprofit, what would be a good mission statement? What is our mission going to be? We had to create policies and procedures and bylaws and stuff like that. So it was, what do we want this nonprofit to actually look like when it's actually created in the future?
What did you personally learn about leadership and teamwork through this project?
So what I learned about leadership and teamwork was I learned that it takes a lot more to create a nonprofit than I realized, which was a great learning experience. How to manage people at an executive director or president level, and then just working together as a team with all of these different ideas. We were all leaders, so it's not like one of us was taking leadership and the others were following. We all had to learn how to work together as leaders of the group.
How did delivering a real product or service to the community impact you and your team?
So delivering the product was the biggest challenge we had because this was a nonprofit that was non-existent. We were taking medical equipment and supplies and then delivering them to those who needed them. So it was gathering medical supplies, and each and every one of us were to gather some kind of item. So we got crutches and shower chairs and wheelchairs, and then finding some place we can deliver those to. And there were a couple of us who lived far away, and so it was like, well, how do we get them involved so that they can? So what they did was they delivered the items that they gathered, they delivered them in their community, and then those of us that were in Pierce County, we all met together and we went to the Tacoma Rescue Mission and delivered the items there.
So, a little bit off script, but you have a personal story about why this nonprofit was so important.
Yeah, so the reason this nonprofit was really important to me is because I went through a period of time where I couldn't walk. And so during that time, I was bound to a wheelchair. I was told I would never walk again. And I very quickly learned how expensive it is to get even the smallest medical items and how much insurance does not cover. So going from a wheelchair to a walker to even using a cane, my insurance didn't cover all of those items. So without support of my friends and family, I would not have been able to afford them. And that's the people that we help, are people who can't afford these items.
At what point did you realize that your class project could actually become a real nonprofit organization?
I knew very early on. I mean, obviously, this is something that was very dear to me that I wanted to start. But as we were creating the mission statements and the pamphlet of how the nonprofit would run and the different like levels of leadership and all the bylaws, and as we were creating it, I was like, wow, this is something that I can actually make happen. And I got permission from my teammates to use everything that we did in Management 283.
What steps did you take after the class ended to make it into a sustainable nonprofit?
So I had to learn how to start a nonprofit, and so I started looking up the laws and regulations, getting my articles of incorporation, getting my 501c3 status, and I did it right after Management 283. I used the name that my team came up with. So my nonprofit is named Lifting Spirits with Helping Hands, which is what my team came up with. The logo I've changed a little bit, but it was all stuff that we created in Management 283 that I used today. I still use it.
What awards and recognition has your nonprofit received, and how do those honors reflect the foundation you built in Management 283?
So my nonprofit has received quite a few awards and recognition. We've been featured in the News Tribune. We've received an award from Pierce County Aging and Disability and Human Services. I am actually getting an award this weekend through Opportunity Knox. They want to showcase my nonprofit because what we're doing, nobody else does, and it's highly needed, not only in Pierce County, which is where we started, but all over Washington and actually all over the nation. So we're starting to get recognition everywhere.
What advice would you give current students to help them succeed in the Management 283 team project?
The advice I can give you, the best advice, is time management. You have to make this a priority. Consider it like another job. Like, you are creating a nonprofit that could impact and make such a difference in the future. Like, take it very seriously, but also manage your time and show up for your team and make sure you're doing your part.
How should students approach the workload and team expectations so that everyone does their fair share?
So approaching the workload, it's significant, right? So what we did was we made sure we were meeting every single week. We had a set day and time, and the expectation was everybody was there. We talked to everybody and said what time works for you, what day works for you, and just, like I said, make it like a job, make it a priority. Show up, do your assignments every week. If you fall behind, it's really hard to get caught up then, because your project is based off of every single week and every single assignment. So just make sure you're staying on top of it.
What would you say to students who might see this as just another assignment instead of a real opportunity to make a difference?
What I would say to students who consider this just another assignment, it's not. You are making a difference. You are creating a nonprofit that will impact people's lives. So yeah, you will make a difference in the community.
Looking back, how did this project change the way you see yourself, your career, and your role in the community?
So looking back, obviously now I started the nonprofit and I run the nonprofit. I'm the president and executive director, which I never thought it would actually happen. It was just a dream of mine. So taking what we created and making it a real live project has just it's been amazing.
What does it feel like to know that your nonprofit is now making a positive difference in people's lives?
So my nonprofit, I cry a lot. Dealing with not only the people that we're helping and giving these medical items to and hearing their stories, but also the people we're getting the medical items from. Most of them have lost a family member, and so it's part of their healing process, which is why we call it compassion pickups when we go to pick up these items. because it's the reason they're donating to us is because they know that we're not making a profit off of it and we're giving it to somebody else who will really need it, and it's honoring their family member in that way. So it's just, I cry a lot when I'm doing this.
If you could go back and talk to your student self at the beginning of Management 283, what would you say?
If I could talk to my student self, I would say don't get discouraged. It's easy to get discouraged doing this and thinking you're not making a difference, but you are, and you're inspiring people that you don't even know about, so just keep pushing forward.
Any final thoughts or words that you want Management 283 students to know about the class and the
Yeah,
project?
I would just say congratulations for just even doing this and getting this far in the associate program, and just keep going. Like, when you touch other people's lives, it makes you feel good. Like it's a complete circle. So just keep going.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.